Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, let me introduce myself. My name's Paola. Thanks for stopping by. And if you're returning, hey girl, hey, hope you're doing well. Today I have two of my friends who are repeat guests coming back and having a little bit of a discussion. My friend Margaret and my friend Esther, and we're going to be discussing dreams. How do you keep them alive? Is it possible to be creative and following your dreams while trying to be reasonable, logical, and having your feet planted in the ground? We're going to be discussing our safety as women, and I'm really excited about this conversation, and I hope you guys do too. Before I start the video, I wanted to shout out my friend Natalie. She is the designer of these beautiful earrings, and her brand is called Noble Adams. I will leave a link to her Instagram so you guys can check it out. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up, and if you didn't, give me a thumbs down so we know what we like and what we don't like. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them down in the comment sections, and even suggestions for the next topic. Alrighty guys, hope you guys enjoy, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye! Let's do this. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have two familiar faces. I have Miss Margaret and I have Miss Esther, and today's actually a crossover episode. So it is a crossover with Esther. So I'm gonna let Esther also introduce herself to her people on her podcast, which is called Esther Alexis, Body of an Extrovert.
Well, damn, girl, if you were just going to do it for me. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to Esther Alexis, Body of an Extrovert. Today, I have two super awesome guests that you are totally familiar with. Margaret, the ever elusive, because she refuses to join the world of social media for all good purposes. And our good friend and returning guest, Lola. So today's a crossover episode, as mentioned earlier, and just stick around. I think that you guys are really going to enjoy it.
So I wanted to do this conversation because Margaret just started up her blog. She has always done photography. Margaret's a very creative person, and obviously she's not on social media, but believe us when we tell you she dropped beautiful photos. She took beautiful photos of people. She took beautiful photos of herself. She is like multifaceted, and she has her blog. I'm going to let her talk a little bit more about it. But she recently just wrote a blog, and it was inspired by Langston Hughes' Harlem's poem, and it's titled What Happens to a Dream Deferred. And it's all about dreams and how do we keep things alive. So Margaret, please take it away.
That was a nice introduction. Yes, I started a blog. The blog was born from two journeys. One journey was me entering the world of photography, something that I've loved for a long time. I struggled with it in the business side of things as opposed to just doing it as a hobby and a passion, which I ended up, pulling my website down. But, COVID kind of pushed me, it pushed me thoroughly into the Lord, okay? Pushed me to my Savior.
Come on now.
Me to my Savior. Jesus was talking to me. He was like, sis, you have things to say. You got to say it. So I already had a website. I was already expressing myself through pictures. And I thought, wow, I have words too. Let me just throw that in there. And, the blog came alive. And it is Christ-led and Christ-operated and Christ-owned. That's not even me, y'all. That is...
Come on now. You see, y'all about to bring me to church. Y'all
bless that blog. Bless that website. Can you tell us what the website's called, what the blog's called, so that people know where to go? And I'm going to link it down below as well.
Yes, that is www.omokaphotos.com. Please holla at your girl. I'm on there. You know what I'm saying? When I don't even know, I think maybe in high school, in English class or something, we read Langston Hughes' poem, Harlem. And ever since I read that poem, it always resonated with me, but I could not for the life of me understand why. And, after praying for weeks, well, actually for really years, but like specifically targeting my dreams for a few weeks, that poem really started it just kept sitting in my mind. And I ended up writing a blog post about what happens to a dream deferred. Because, Mr. Hughes asked that question such a long time ago. And for me, I gave up on a lot of my dreams very early in life. And I operated through life without being a dreamer. So I don't know, it just developed into a blog, and now we're here.
I want to ask you and Esther, what was 5-year-old Margaret, 5-year-old Esther, 5-year-old Paola's dream? So that way we can start. I know you said you gave up on your dreams, but what were your dreams? I know in the blog you mentioned it was about, getting some shmoney. And you weren't too sure how you were going to get the shmoney, but you dreamed of just swiping credit cards left and right. And that's a dream for lots of people. But what was your bigger dream, I guess?
I swore on my life I was going to be like a big singer. I was going to be rich. I swore.
Really?
Like, I don't want to say Beyonce because nobody's like Beyonce, child. But somebody like that. And I swore that I was going to be like an astronaut. I swore I was going to be like a singer who goes to, I had crazy dreams as a kid. I don't want to go to space now. I want to go to heaven. But
low-key that space though. So, I had the most unconventional dreams at 5. Like, yeah, we had like the singer-songwriter dreams, but like, believe it or not, don't even laugh. My number one dream at 5 years old was to be an assassin. Like, I wanted I wanted to be an assassin so hard.
Let's start with all the Karens out there.
Girl, I'm not even kidding. Because when you're a kid, like your mom used to like hide sugar and like candy and stuff. So you would like climb the cabinets and like have to be super silent not to wake your parents up and all these things. And I'm not even kidding you, my physique as a child, I think as like most children, like I used to be able to pull myself up to the ceilings just by like gripping the fridge or like the handles. Like I used to hang upside down from the ceiling to get candy and stuff, which really, I'm pre-diabetic. We're not surprised now, but like I wanted to be an assassin because I was like, I could put these skills to use and get rid of all the evildoers in the world. And now I get rid of evildoers by assassinating sad thoughts and bringing light to conversations. So we're just doing it in a different fashion. Yes. But those are my dreams at 5.
Love that you talk about how it evolved. And as I was reading your post, Margaret, and even myself, when I think about my dreams, I think a lot of people get depressed and they feel like they are stuck in life because they picked a job in the office. They picked a job that's not what they thought it would be, or it doesn't look like what their dream looked like at 5. But it needs to evolve, right? So you wanted to be an assassin, or in a way, a superhero, somebody who brought good into the world, and you're finding your way to make your dream come true. Just not obviously killing people, evil people, obviously, not doing it actually. So I like the idea of people evolving, and I think a lot of the time people like to shit on other people when they don't make it, right? So one of the things I wanted to talk about is the point of having a dream is to have a dream and try, or is it to have a dream, try, and succeed? Like if you're not successful at the dream, is your dream failed? And I don't believe that at all. I think people have, overhyped success sometimes because we see these people who make it and then they're miserable. My dream was to be an actress or do all these other things. And I'm thinking about it now. I'm like, maybe it's not, multi-million-dollar blockbuster films at the box office, but I'm doing my stuff. People like it. I enjoy it. I have a good time. I even think about our high school teachers, even though they were douches. But the point being, some of them wanted to be, singers and actors, and they ended up doing drama, teaching drama at high school. And that's still being in the arts. Or somebody who had a dream to be a doctor, maybe it didn't work out. So now they teach biology. I feel like dreams evolve and we evolve with them. And people who get depressed or feel like they don't accomplish it is not realizing that your dream doesn't have to come true the way you thought it would be for it to come true. Does that make sense?
I think to answer your question and to specifically point on something that you said was that we either overhype, what success is. And I don't think that's it at all. I think that we are, what's the word? I think that we've become disillusioned with what success really was in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? I think as a child, we thought being wealthy and being known around the world was success. Like that's the only, definition of success that we were, associating with, but I think that as we've gotten older, as long as I've gotten older anyway, I've realized that success for me is just me being happy. And I think that goes far beyond the grain of being wealthy. It goes far beyond the grain of having people know me, because there's no greater joy than I feel like knowing myself. You know what I'm saying? And so I know I'm not going out there, shooting people in the face, but I am hopefully killing, stereotypes that no longer have a place in our society, killing pieces of misogyny that no longer serve us, or just killing things that don't belong with us as beings as we continue to evolve. You know what I'm saying? So I think that what we have to do is kind of distance ourselves from what we once thought was success and kind of reframe that, if you will. Like, we need to just redefine it per person, I think, as to what you think success is. And then I feel like then you're successful. And who cares what other people think? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I think that everyone who has had an opinion about what you haven't done, talk about it, because they don't even know how to get started.
And I think about all these people who put out different types of content, and in the moment, it is not well received. A lot of our cult classics, if you look back in time, when they were released, people thought it was garbage. People didn't like it. People's taste changes. History tends to change. The way that you're viewed in the present is completely different how people will look back at it. I mean, I can imagine, I remember growing up and lowrider jeans were really popular, and after a while they were looked down upon, and now everyone wants to wear lowrider jeans. Like, even fashion in itself, everything that you think is not cool or worth putting out, later on people change their mind. So you can't just base it on the public opinion, because it's so easily swayed. It's not even, you got to do it because you love it, because you believe in it, even if other people don't believe in it with you. And also, when people do believe in it, believe them, because I think one of my problems has always been people like saying, oh, you can do it, and I'm like, they're just saying this because they're my friend, they're just saying this because it's nice, they're just trying to make me feel better. But when people are giving you genuine support, take it, hold on to it, because the world is going to be ready to knock you down over and over again, and you're the only one who could put yourself back up.
If you don't mind my asking, like Margaret particularly, what does success mean to you now, as someone who formerly had dreams that you kind of let go of? What does it mean to you now? Like, you're still on your path, I feel like, to discovering these dreams, to bringing them into fruition. What does success for you on the day-to-day basis look like?
Ooh, that is a wonderful question. It's also a loaded question.
It is.
I think
that's why she said
it. To really be successful is to be aligned with God's will for my life and to be happy with myself. I think I spent a lot of time, like you guys were both talking about, caring about what people think and not caring about what people think. And it's so funny because I'm like, I spent a lot of time caring about what people thought, to the detriment of all of my dreams, every single dream I've ever had. Like, I pulled my website down. My website didn't exist, y'all. It was gone. I was not accepting bookings, Don't ask me to sing because I probably won't do it. Like, certain things I just pulled back from, because to me it really hurt. Like, it really the needing opinions meant a lot to me. But for me now, I have a really, really good understanding, which took time, but I have a good understanding of the fact that nobody's opinion really matters except for God. All right, let me tell you something. Ultimately, everyone can tell you many things, but the creator, what he says is what really, really, really matters. So to me, what success looks like is anything what the Bible says is successful is what my success looks like. And I know that sounds very pretentious and Christian and pretentious, but no, for real, it's very clearly outlined. And that to me is success. If I'm helping others, if I'm loving my neighbors as myself, that to me is my success. Whatever the gifts of God, I have a lot of things that I was given. The reason why I started my blog is not for numbers. I started my blog because I want to give my testimony to someone else who needs it. So if I share my blog with the world and that resonates with somebody, that's my success. If one person resonates with my blog, that is my success. That to me is how I measure my success. I don't actually care about the numbers. It's about the testimony and letting people know, I'm experiencing this. This is what I went through. And if it resonates with you, please use that as use that as a testimony to know that you can do it too. You can make these changes too. You can recognize that success looks different for every single person, but the only metric of success you need to worry about is your own. It's weird because it's almost like an overnight thing. Let me tell you something. I see what people are doing around me now, and it's as before, the way it used to like skeeve me, and I'd be like, man, like everyone's doing all these things and I'm not. Now I look at it and I'm like, granted, I've always been happy for people. I'm not one to be like a hater. I'm not a hater. That's weird. If you're a hater, you're weird. You should pray for yourself. It's weird. I'm very like I'm a very supportive person, but like I'm self-critical. I'm very critical of myself, and I still am. You know, I'm a work in progress on that front. But like now, I'm just saying to myself, wow, look at what God can do for me. Like, look at what everyone has happened. You see what's happening to y'all? Oh, God could do that for me too. Like, okay, wonderful.
That's
like,
beautiful.
do it for me too. Like, do that.
Listen, every time I see a blessing on somebody's doorstep, I'd be like, oh, he is in the neighborhood and still making business. If
Yes.
don't shout to the Lord, I certainly will. Do not pass me by. I'm telling you, if he could do it for Lola, he could do it for me.
Exactly.
And you know what I have to say, and like, sorry, I know that I'm blabbing about this, but I have to say that, you know, when we come to the court of public opinion, like it is so much easier said than done. Like even for ourselves, like I think that I had to really switch my mindset that was judgmental and critical of certain things to just accepting and understanding on just a human being level. Like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, I think that previously I used to see people like doing things and I'm like, and that's not going to work. And let me tell you why X, Y, and Z. And then I was like, okay, Esther, but what are you doing aside from criticizing? Like, how did that critique help them? How did it help you? Do you feel more successful having done nothing but critique? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I think that even that is a transition of perspective that one has to make. And honestly, I think it's made through faith as well, to be sincere with you.
Mhm.
Like, honestly, like, you see people doing certain things and it's low-key like it's hard to clap for them in the beginning because you kind of want to clap for you. And it's like after you start getting aligned, I feel like with your purpose, with your passion, with your faith, you're like, okay, you know what? No, clap it up for my good sis because she's doing the damn thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that energy even is hard to come by nowadays. Like, there's a meme. I don't know if you guys have seen it on Facebook recently, and I feel personally attacked. Y'all are gonna have to tell me because y'all knew me in high school. It's a meme and it's like, you know, it's just so funny because now like the mean girls in high school are all starting businesses and being content creators, and she was mad disrespectful and wants you to support her business, bitch, bye. And I'm like, oh, I was like, ooh. I was like, wait a minute. Like, are we? And it sucks because I feel like in the court of public opinion, people are judging what you create, your testimony, how far you've come, and etc. based on who you were, not knowing who you are now. And I feel like that's disappointing. Is that anything that you two have ever had to like deal with or confront yourself with, or no?
Yeah, I think when I feel I'm a self-proclaimed chismosa. I like, and I always see things and I'm like, ugh, why are you doing this? But I think it also comes from our culture. If you think about it, we live in America, but we're children of immigrants, right? So we live in a country that tells you could be president, and low-key everyone could be president because look who's president. But, you know, if you're not qualified, stop running. If you feel me, please sit down. But we live in a country that tells kids you can be anything you want. But as they grow up, they realize these limitations, right? They start seeing the barriers that are placed on them. I'm a woman of color, this and that. This is the glass ceiling. And they start breaking down all that confidence you had in yourself. So when you see people have the confidence to do what seems like the impossible, of course you're gonna be like, what? You want to be an astronaut? You want to walk on the moon? Okay, that's nearly impossible. And I think even in the Bible, I think it was at Peter when God's like, come out in the middle of the storm, I will hold you on, you're not going to drown. And he's like, not me, not on this water. It is hard sometimes for your mind to be like, it seems nearly impossible, but the key word is nearly. It's not actually impossible. It's nearly impossible. And it's hard sometimes for people to be like, it is possible. It is a shot in the dark, but it can happen. And sometimes you just need a little bit of faith, a lot of hard work, and like just let God do what he needs to do. And it's hard to conceptualize that. And it's not people trying to be haters. It's like literally like it seems nearly impossible until it's not impossible.
Yeah.
Listen, girl, everything was impossible until somebody did it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and even the word impossible says I'm possible. Like, I'm possible to be done. You know what I'm saying? And so honestly, there's just no such thing as impossible. Truly and honestly, after Trump won the presidency, I like, can't nobody tell me nothing. If I tell y'all I'm gonna start growing feathers and start twerking on the moon, then that's what I'm going to do. And that's just on period. Like, you know what I mean? Like, honestly though, like, I agree with you. I think that we allow people to place limitations on it, which is funny because in Margaret's blog, her recent blog, which by the way, the title caught me in the throat, and it was like, "What are you, a coward?" And like she was just talking about some of the formalities and some of the like just the thought processes that are pushed on to like children of immigrants or just people in general by societies. And it's just like we're kind of bred to believe like this is what we're meant to do. Here's your limitations. Stay within this box. And if you touch like the top of the box, that's success. And I'm like, you know what? This box ain't working for me no more. I just don't fit here anymore. I got to go.
I feel like one of the reasons why I limit my dreams is because of the fact that I'm a child of immigrants, right? Mm-hmm. My dream when I was 18 was like I was going to graduate, and I was like, college? I don't need no college. I want to go to LA. I want to go to pilot season. I want to do all these things. And my mom was like, no, you're not. I didn't come to this country to learn a whole new language, clean toilets, be a CNA so that you could not, be successful. You need to get your degree. And that's kind of how I've always felt. I feel personally triggered by the phrase, I am my ancestors' wildest dreams, because I'm thinking about all the people who were before me, who struggled, who like crawl, ran, fought so I could be in this country. And I'm just thinking about like, I feel sometimes like it's being disrespectful to not fall in line. But then I think about the people who are to come after me. Is it not disrespectful for me not to even try to live out my dreams so that they can live out their dreams? Does that make sense? So I don't know. It's just, that's something that always weighs down on me. I'm just like, I don't want to ever feel like a disappointment. And I feel like that's another reason why people don't dream out loud. You don't want to be a disappointment. You don't want to come home.
It's interesting because I feel like, oh man, you just said a word with that one, and I feel like there's a word, and it's escaping me. I'm hoping Esther will be able to pick it up. Generational curses is the word I was
just gonna go there, bro.
What you just said to me sounds like a generational curse that we need to slay so that the people who come after us never have to even question that. We are blessed to be where we are. Don't get me wrong, our ancestors have worked so hard to get us here, absolutely. But they got us here so that where we are, we can chase those dreams that they may not even have known to have. We're doing them a disservice if we're not chasing those dreams. Let me tell you something, there's a lot more to the world than being an engineer, a nurse, or a doctor. Not
according to Haitians, baby. You can't say that.
Girl, Nigerians are the same. Don't get me wrong. No shade to those career paths. They're amazing, immaculate, and we need more of them in every arena. But there's more to life than that, right? And don't get me wrong. In Nigerian culture, if you're not one of those, you don't have a real job. You're not even, you need to go back to school and get a doctorate. Honestly, I was just talking to my parents yesterday, and they said to me, so when are you going to start your doctorate? And my dad said, you know what, just go get a JD.
Margaret, what happened? Dude, yesterday, I kid you not, no joke whatsoever. My father looked me in the face and he was like, when are you going to go to law school? It's been too long. Like, the longer you're out of school, the longer you are out of school, it's going to come back.
My father said the same thing. My dad
you both have your masters.
So you're just not going to go get a JD.
What is going on? What is
going on?
You don't have your masters.
Sir, but it's what she said, though. It comes back to generational curses and cultural things, too. It goes back to the dream deferred topic. These are people, if I'm being sincere with you, what I love about immigrant parents is that they love fiercely. And with that fierce love comes kind of this ferocious need to have you succeed where they feel like they might have fallen short. They deferred part of their dream. Like, their dream was to make it to the United States. And so they deferred whatever their dream, their career goals might have been so that you could achieve what was ultimate for you in this world. You know what I'm saying? But I think that what Margaret said is transcendental in that, it's just a higher plane. it would be disrespectful of me to not try to do what I really feel like my purpose has called me to do. You know what I mean? Like, my father, bless him, my father has given me the world, has laid the world at my feet, truly and honestly, by giving every bit of himself into a foreign country that did not love him, that did not speak the language he spoke, that mistreated him, that continues to mistreat him. You know what I'm saying? So that this way, when I have children, I could be like, it's your oyster. You could do whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the goal. But I feel like it would be a disservice to me and a disservice to him if I wasn't, even if he doesn't know it, even if he doesn't comprehend it right now, if I don't do what I feel like my God-given purpose is. And so that's why I have to pursue it. Even if, and like Margaret said, that's also the thing about God-given purposes. It may not look like, and that's, let me tell y'all, it may not look like how I want it to look like. And that's the thing. God doesn't always give you things according to what you want it to look like. If you ask him to lead you, you've got to let him lead. So, like, that being said, I think that we've just got to come to terms with the fact that it might not look like the way we want it to look like. It might not end the way we want it to end. But I think that if we don't even start the journey, then how can someone else find the beginning of the path? You know what I mean?
I do love that point you made about making sure our deferred dreams stop being deferred, and we have to live in the moment and stop passing it on to future generations. Another thing I wanted to talk about today is Esther actually brought to my attention this really horrific event that happened out here in our neck of the woods in Connecticut, in regards to a young lady being sex trafficked. Esther, you kind of broke the news to me. Can you talk to them about what kind of happened?
Yeah, that actually really broke my heart, for being sincere with you. Honestly, I mean, I only have as much information as the public knows, but a young lady was just kind of like just walking to wherever her destination was. It wasn't even like nighttime kind of energy. And she was literally just grabbed off the streets, kidnapped, brought to a motel, and gang raped repeatedly every day for like 6-7 days, until the cops finally found her. And what really sucks is that her family had reported her within hours of her having been missing, because you know, people know your patterns, and they were kind of brushed off, put to the side, and it wasn't until just really late they were like, you just got to check out these certain places, because there are just certain places in the area that are known for just doing shady business, and of course they found her alive. God, you know, thank God. But obviously she went through a traumatic experience, and it's going to take its toll on her. And so something that recently came to mind for myself, and something that I'm a huge advocate of, and I've been an advocate of for years, is just personal safety, particularly for women, particularly for children, and especially for people of color, because we're living in a day and age where hate is fueling the actions instead of thoughts, instead of comprehension and compassion. And so something that I brought up to both Margaret and Lola separately and together is just the concept of just being safe and taking that into our own hands, and then also being accountable for one another in the ways that we can be. So whether it's, you know, if you're going to go out today, send your outfit of the day to your friends first. God forbid if you go missing, they'll know what you were looking like that morning. And arming yourself, knowing there are things on YouTube, like self-defense mechanism on YouTube, where it's like, I think one is Sing, which is actually funny. It was on Miss Congeniality, where Sandra Bullock takes out her, like, you know, her person for her talent in the beauty show, and it's actually a real thing. Please look it up on YouTube. Just simple self-defense tactics that will keep you alive, or at least disable your, you know, potential harmer or oppressor, and give you just a few extra seconds. And those extra seconds could be very, very helpful. And of course, if you're just someone who maybe doesn't have it in you to strike someone, if you know that your opponent might be bigger than you, stronger than you, there's always self-defense tools like the flashlight Lola was holding up. So Lola, do you want to explain about that flashlight?
I have a wonderful friend who cares so much about my safety. So we were talking about how to defend yourself, and Esther was talking to me on WhatsApp, and I have what Margaret calls selective attention. So I was like, long story short, Esther's like, I got you one. And I'm like, you got me one? What? So this is what appears to be like a flashlight. So if you turn it on, there you go, it turns on. If you push it up once, okay. Obviously, I have to learn how to use it because I'm going to hurt myself, but it is a stun gun. And if you hold it to someone for 5 seconds, you can not decapitate,
Incapacitate.
But you
Is that right?
incapacitate them.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it'll incapacitate them. So if you do it for like a second or so, it'll just do minor pain muscle contractions. 3 seconds will give them a little bit of dizziness, will put them off kilter. 5 seconds should be enough in sensitive areas where the nerves are higher, such as the genital area, such as the face. The face is a really good one. The jugular. Those areas, if you stun someone long enough, you should be able to incapacitate them. They're probably not going to pass out, but they'll definitely be thrown off for a few seconds themselves. And again, those few seconds can be enough to save a life, can be enough for you to get away, to get in your car, hopefully roll over his, his legs and leave him there. And it's not always men too. That's the thing as well. I don't know if you guys I don't know why I watch this. I'm actually someone who's very much against watching things that make me sad, but I watched the Jeffrey Epstein documentary on Netflix. And it's not always men that will put you in situations that will be a danger to your life, unfortunately. It's women too. Anyone can be a predator. So if you at any point feel like you can't trust someone, if you feel like you're in an uncomfortable situation, first and foremost, please say something. Because sometimes there's a line between an uncomfortable situation and assault and or harassment. And sometimes I say this a lot, and it's not to be a devil's advocate, but just because in the day and age that we live in, the court system will say it. Like, did he know he was making you uncomfortable? Did she know she was making you uncomfortable? Did you tell that person, hey, you're low-key harassing, oppressing me right now? And if it doesn't stop, it's a problem. Like, do you see what I'm saying? So you want to vocalize that. And if that person is not giving you the space that you need to feel safe, then absolutely defend yourself. And that's what it is. It's the heat of the moment. You want to survive. No one is looking out for you unless you got family and friends. But like, if you're alone, no one is looking out for you more than you should be looking out for you. So believe your gut instinct. Lola, you actually told a story the other night when I bought you the flashlight. If you wanted to go into that.
So I was seeing a young gentleman back in November and December, and I don't want to paint men as like these monsters and everyone's trying to like harm you. But the truth of the matter is, like Esther said, you have to have your eyes open. You have to be just very vigilant. Long story short, he was like, oh, let me just stop right here real quick to get something from my friend. And I'm thinking like, I'm gonna wait in the car. He's like, no, come inside. It's gonna be cold or whatever. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna go in there. So I walk in and it's one dude, but then 2 dudes pop up from the side and then another dude comes in. And the fear that went through my body, listen, nobody did anything to me. Nobody made me feel uncomfortable. Everyone was nice. But the fact that I was alone with 5 men, 4 of them that I did not know at night, I was like, what is going to happen to me? And thankfully, God was with me. Nobody had any ill intentions, but you have to unfortunately live with that as a woman, that anybody could try to do some harm to you. And I'm a believer that men and women are equal, but there are just certain things. Unfortunately, men are physically stronger than you. I think there's a lot of women who walk around and they're like, we're all equal and this all that stuff. You have to live with the reality that if a man wants to do something to you, physically, it's going to be really hard for you to defend yourself. So we have to walk around protecting ourselves. You always have to be on the defense. You have to keep your eyes open because it's usually somebody you know. It's usually somebody you know. We hear these stories about people getting snatched up by strangers, but it's people who know you or people who've been watching you. But that whole situation, I was so scared, and that's when fight or flight kicks in. And I'm telling you, flight was coming in at me. I wish I was like, I could have been like, oh yeah, I would have punched him in the face. I was literally scared that I sat down, that I only left when he was like, okay, it's time to leave, because I was so scared to get up from my chair. I was like, literally like, what's going to happen to me tonight?
I used to walk around with a knife in high school because like I grew up in the hood, you know what I mean? So like I had access to those materials and whatnot. And so like, even little things, anything that makes you feel comfortable, brass knuckles, like my friends have brass knuckle keychains. So when they walk to their car, they're holding their keychains with their brass knuckles. And if somebody wants to feel froggy, they could lose a tooth. You know what I'm saying?
I used to do that too.
Yeah, no,
just
seriously.
walk around with a keychain like this.
No, but definitely, it's a weapon. If you don't have a keychain and if you just can't afford certain things, they're actually really super affordable, girl. If you could get your nails done every other week, you could buy several weapons. You know what I'm saying? But like even your keys, if you just put it in between your hands and have it be an extension of your fist, so when you punch him, you blind him. Like at the end of the day, it's unfortunate, but the fact of the matter is, I think that 2020 has shown its ass, has shown its true colors, and people are just not, trustworthy. We're just not living in a world where your safety is guaranteed because you're a good person.
And
Let
share
them know
your
where you're
location with
going.
people.
That you
It's
trust
actually a tool, like
implicitly.
it's something that anyone can do. And
Yep.
it's weird because like I think for private people, because I know for myself, I used to feel like I don't want to share my location with people. But let me tell you something that could save your life one day.
Yep. Yep.
Share your location with people. Let me tell you something. Nobody's really checking that crap until they're looking for you. And then
Yeah.
Sorry. When I was talking to, I think you, because we were talking about a post, unfortunately, the way we date has to be super safe. Even when I go out with my friends, I think we do it all amongst each other. When you get in through the door is when Esther came to my house 2 days ago. She did not leave. Mind you, she was parked like 5 feet away from my house, did not leave till I closed my door. And I kind of left it open so I could see her leave. Unfortunately, you have to be the advocate for your friends. If you are going in a group of friends, you do not leave until everybody in your group is with you. I've heard horror stories about people saying, I went with my friend and my friend left. That is horrendous. If you came with your friend, you leave with your friend. If you have plans to meet somebody and it's been 10, 15 minutes, check up on them. I am somebody like that. I'd be like, hey, it's been 10 minutes since we left. Have you gotten home or not? Because I'm not sleeping. And I will call your mom. I'm not playing these games. That's not how we're doing it. And we were talking in the group about this meme or this video that Margaret sent or Esther sent about a guy pranking his wife, about how he didn't show up last night. So she called his best friend and his best friend lies for him and like, yeah, he's here. And I'm like, if someone did that to me, that Margaret didn't show up at home, I would be flipping out because in my mind, I'm thinking someone tried to harm her, someone tried to snatch her up. I'm going to calling CPS, even though she's not a child anymore. I'm going to call her mom. I'm going to call the FBI. I'm going to call the Navy SEAL. I'm going to call whoever I need to call because
I'm calling Obama because I know if I tell Obama, he's going to do something about it. I'm calling just about
Michelle
everybody.
first, though.
Oh, Michelle gonna hear it from me. I'm gonna start weeping to Michelle. I'm gonna get in contact with Beyonce so she can put a video up. The alarms will be set. No, but sincerely and honestly, like that's what it is.
Yeah, and I think this is particularly important for younger people, like for high school, college students, because I know for me, I had a few bad instances in college. And obviously, by the grace of God, I'm still here, and the people that I was with are still here. But it was nothing but the grace of God, right? And there's other things, that's the most important, but there's other things. Like we ourselves can make choices to do better things and to land in better situations. Like to me, when people are drinking, especially when alcohol is involved, please do not leave your friends. Don't leave your friends, especially if they're under the influence. I don't understand why people make those decisions anyway. But like if you came with them, leave with them. And let me tell you something. If your friend is under the influence and they're trying to go leave with somebody who they didn't come with, you need to check your friend because like, can you really give consent? Can you really give consent when you're under the influence? Like really, like these are things to be really mindful of. Cause like, you don't know what could happen. You really just don't know what could happen. And I don't want to live with the reality that like I was with somebody who was harmed. You know what I mean? I don't want to live with that. And I don't want anybody else to have to live with that either.
I agree. I think that, we've all been to parties where, we have friends who are drinking or we're drinking. And like, I've had an instance where I've had this instance several times and it irks my spirit, but it's like my friends will, they'll want to stay longer than me and they're just a little more lit than I am. And then like, for me, I'm going to be sincere with you. I feel obligated to stay and I think that you should stay. Like, even if you're annoyed, even if you're like, you know what, I told you I had work tomorrow and you done really pissed me off. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you knew I had to be home at a certain time or what have you. I'm like, stay. stay or call someone you know can stay out longer with them. Like, that's a thing. Like, I think that it's so important to just have connections, have communications, and then also to have certain conversations with your friends who you are going to be going out with. Like, I've told Lola and Margaret, like, say for example, if I have to go to jail, if we have to physically fight for you to not leave with a stranger, then that's just what it's going to have to be. We're just going to be in the jailhouse together. I'm going to get my 8 hours of beauty sleep.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? I'll lay you out. If laying you out is what I got to do to get out with you, then that's what we're going to do.
100%.
But then instead of me waking up tomorrow seeing like, Margaret was last seen, like I would lose my marbles. You know what I mean? Just be a good friend. Do for others what you would want done
for you. Exactly.
Period.
When I was in college, I had a friend. We're not friends anymore, and it wasn't because of this story. I had a friend who was so drunk. I had to take her home. And she tried to jump out of a moving Uber. Y'all, I damn near punched that girl in the face.
Oh
Man,
my God.
we were about to really fight that day. But the truth of the matter is, I was so upset, but I had to get her home. You know what I mean? Like, I had to make sure that she got home because the alternative is scary.
Yeah.
She just
And it's
didn't
real
recall
life.
any of that the next day. She didn't recall not even a bit of it. None of it.
Will watch this, but I want to do a panel with men, but I want men to like understand. A lot of the times they complain about, oh, it's hard to approach women, y'all aren't friendly, and I'm like, we live in a world where if anything happens to me, I become the perpetrator of my own crime. They're gonna be like, oh, well, you stopped to talk to him, what you think was gonna happen? So I wish men understood that it's not like we think they're evil creatures. It's just, honestly, I have to be scared of you. I have to be on the defense because I don't know you. And just think about, I don't know how they don't understand that in their brain, like that we have to operate differently. I was on Tinder because, you know, I get bored sometimes. And this guy was talking about the craziest story that he did was he went to Mexico on a cruise. And he was bored. He wanted to go there, and that some like random skater guys told him to jump in the car. And then they spent the whole day like skateboarding throughout like Mexico. And I was like, that's not something I would ever in a million years even think about doing. Jumping in a foreign country with some random ass strangers, and they don't live with that fear, so they don't understand the fear that we have. And it's like, I don't need you to understand everything what it's like to be a woman, but I just need you to empathize. Just think about it before you out here opening up your mouth about us being unapproachable and not being friendly. And just think about the things that you're doing. Esther told me about her friend getting in a car with a dude, and he child locked that car. What?
Oh, yeah, that happened to one of my friends, too. And
Listen.
I just...
Why?
But also, Lola, I really want... you said something, and it bothered me. And I have to clarify this. Let me tell you something. Men know that other men are dangerous. Men know.
I agree.
They're dangerous. They know this. So if somebody's telling you that's not true, women are just not easy to approach and you're mean, run away from him because he's sick. That's not the one you need to talk to. Men know. Men will be the first people to warn women about not doing certain things. And
listen.
Certain situations.
Listen.
This man, because he's going to do something to you. However, I have to stress this. This is not to say that it's all on us to do things to keep ourselves safe.
No.
That men and women that are harming and abusing and targeting and putting people in danger, all of them are wrong. They are all wrong. That they are the problem. They are the problem. However, because we don't have a unilateral decision, we as individuals need to do a better job of keeping ourselves safe, because the only thing that we can control is ourselves.
And I don't want anyone to feel like we're saying if you don't do the things that we've stated, and if something happens to you, you're responsible. That is not the case. The only person responsible for committing heinous acts are the people who are doing it. What I want people to understand is, like, unfortunately, we live in a world where people get away with it, right? So we live in a first world country and a developed country, and it has its problems. But if you hear about stories about other governments where women claim rape, sometimes they're forced to marry the rapist. They get stoned to death. they get thrown into jail because they'll call it adultery. It's just crazy. And I remember a couple years ago, there was a story in India about a woman who got gang raped on a bus, and she ended up dying because what they did to her was disgusting. And it took forever for those people to get persecuted and prosecuted. So the reason why we're giving out these tips is not to say if you do these things, it won't happen to you. It's just the hope that it would help keep you away from that danger. And even if you do all these things, people are still going to try. You're not responsible for other people's disgusting, perverted minds. And I'm glad you brought that up. That was not the message of this whole point. I just want people to, we just have to open up our eyes. I think for a really long time, I knew rape happened. I knew sex trafficking happened, but I didn't understand how big it was. And the fact that it just happened in our own freaking town, it like really scared me. It like scared me.
And
there's
also, we miss to not mention that, you know, be safe at home. Because let me tell you something. It's not just outside that this can happen to you. This can happen in your house. Be safe. Like, be safe. Not to say, like, again, it's not on the victim. It's not on the survivor. I hate using the word victim, so sorry I used that word. It's not on the person it happens to. It's on the people who do it. They are the person in the wrong. But and for parents out there, which if any parents decide to listen to this, set up a relationship with your children where if somebody in your house is harming them, you should have a relationship where they feel comfortable to tell you. Because I would be sick if I have a child and I learned that anything happened to them in the house that I gave birth to them in. Like, can you imagine being a woman? It's a hard thing. It's not an easy thing.
It's not. It's a death sentence in certain places. So just because we live in a country where we're not gonna feel instant harm, I guess, in a way, doesn't mean that it's not around the corner. So definitely.
Underappreciated, undervalued, and always under attack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are there any tips or advice you want to give young ladies? People go out in the clubs. I don't go to the clubs. I don't find it fun. But the clubs ain't it. Okay. Nothing really good happens after like 9 o'clock, and I'm usually asleep at 9:30. So
it's actually facts. My parents used to say that all the time. They're like, "What business do you have outside the house at 9 p.m.?" And it's true. Nothing good happens after that time. Like, what good happens at night? What's happening that's good?
Nothing.
Listen, y'all, you know what? I came to realize it's absolutely okay to, like, there's this fear of missing out, FOMO, that people have. And let me tell you, it took me a while to, I think, own this. But I was like, you know what? I had the best time of my life. And it's not going to be for everybody. For real, for real. I had the best time sitting in my bed reading, watching television, what have you. I be having a kick-ass time. There are very few.
And this is from an extrovert, y'all. She's an extrovert. Like
literally, no, but for real, like, I love it. But also too, like Lola and Margaret have said, like, of course you're not expected to stay home every night. Yes, girl, go out and live your best life. Like, you should. You know what I'm saying? You don't want your youth to go to waste. If you want to go twerking, thotting, and bopping, you go on and do that. You know what I'm saying? But make sure that you do that, you know, safely. Again, because you do have to be accountable for yourself. That is just what it is. Lola is dying down there. Oh my God. But no, truly, like, it's not even shade.
Friends, though. People need to pick better friends.
Yeah,
and like do. Margaret
if
said,
you have a friend who left you somewhere, that's not your friend. Pray for them.
You know,
go on. You don't need that person in your life.
But I think that Margaret said something too that was really incredible that I wanted to touch upon, which was how men can approach women in 2020. And the most respectful way I was ever approached, I kid you not, when I was living alone in Barcelona, there used to be these, like, I lived on a street that was very popular. It was a tourist street, so there was a bunch of people there, but there were particularly a group of men. There were like bars everywhere. But there was this one group of men that since the day I moved in to the day I moved out, did not miss a beat showing up there, like loitering, just like catcalling, all of it. And especially in a foreign country, I was like, ooh, I'm having none of that. I had like my pepper spray. I was boxing while I was there because I was like, especially if I'm in a foreign country, you better believe my hands is finna be fast in this country. But I remember I was at a bar, literally just downstairs talking to like the guy who ran it. And this guy came up to me and he literally was like 2 stools away and he was like, hey, like, I think you're gorgeous. I'd really like to talk to you. He's like, I know that you're like foreign because obviously you don't look like a Spanish person here. But he was like, and he like purposely would like distance himself. Like even when I was talking to him, he was like, oh, like I just didn't want to scare you. I didn't want to overwhelm you with my physical presence. And that's a thing. Like there's enough information, news circulates enough that people understand that we just live in a day and time where I need to respect my physical presence, my boundaries, my space. And also too, like when I say no or when I'm just not interested, like fall back. But like there's a way to approach people. Just be respectful. You know what I'm saying? And also too, like there's this, you know, there's a lot of energy running around like I'm a good guy, I'm a good guy. You know, in the same way that we talk about social injustice and how good people need to be vocal about bad situations when they're happening, the same thing applies in the dating realm, at the club, at the bar, whatever. If you see a woman being harassed, do not just be silent because your date is sitting there and y'all are fine. Don't be silent because it's not you, it's one of your bros. Definitely be like, leave her alone. That's so much more respectable. That to me, I'm not saying it's a turn on, but
All I'm saying is there are plenty of men who say that they're nice. They're only nice because they know they couldn't get away with half of the things that their bros get away from it. Maybe they're short, maybe they're not considered attractive, so they feel like if they wanted to do it, that they would get called out on it, right? That we have seen people who are really good-looking men get away with a lot of stuff, or men with money or men with power get away with it because they have those things. And I feel like a lot of nice guys would be those same guys doing those things if they had those characteristics. So if you say, oh, I'm a nice person, are you nice for the sake of being nice, or are you nice because you don't have no other options? Rethink what you're doing. Because if you were a nice person, like Esther said, you would have called out your friend and you wouldn't be friends with somebody like that. Just saying. If I'm not a friend with that ain't my friend. That is not my friend. I don't know. I'm going to deny you like Peter did 3 times for the crow in the morning. That is not my friend.
The real tea is that you cannot be a good man. You literally cannot be a good man if you are not policing the men around you. If you are not enforcing being a quote unquote good man, being respectable, respecting women, and respecting the people around you, respecting every single person and treating people how you would want yourself and your family to be treated, you're not a good man. You're literally lying to yourself. Stop lying to yourself. Be vigilant around everyone. I'm not even going to keep sticking genders. Let me say something. Be vigilant around everyone.
Absolutely.
Everyone.
Listen, a lot of these men, they tell me, like, not a lot of these men. Why am I saying this? I've heard some stories from men personally about when they lost their virginity, and they tell me the woman's age and they tell me their age, and I'm like, and you think this was consensual? I said, you think this is consensual? You were 13 or 12 and this woman was in her grown, almost late 20s. And they're in their mind, well, I look grown. I'm like, no, you didn't. You look 12. Look up some photos when you're 12. That lady is a predator, a whole predator.
So guys, the reason that we're bringing these topics up when it comes to dreams and when it comes to your safety is the fact of the matter is we are all promised a life of the pursuit of happiness, life and happiness. In order to have one, you must have the other. In order to have dreams, you must have a life. And the security of your life is really in your own hands and in God's hands. And so please take your security seriously. You know what I mean? So definitely just take whatever measures you can. So again, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in. Please check out Margaret's podcast. I said her podcast. Please check out Margaret's blog. I cannot say enough good things about it. Truly, honestly, it gives me goosebumps. And if she was just my friend and I didn't really like it, I'd be like, yeah, check it out. There will definitely be a link below my own YouTube. I'll link it in my Insta bio. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in to Esther Alexis, Body of an Extrovert. I'll tune in and see you guys next time.
Alrighty, so I'm gonna say my goodbyes now. Thank you guys for tuning in to my channel. Thank you to Margaret and thank you to Esther for joining me again and always indulging me when it comes to my videos. You guys are so well spoken, and like Esther was saying, please check out Margaret's blog. I will drop the link down below. I will also be linking Esther's podcast just in case you don't want to see our faces and you just rather just listen. You know, some people are visual people, some people are audio people. Now you got both options, so please check out her podcast. She actually just dropped 2 fire episodes, one with a writer and one with an artist. And I mean, the artist is just phenomenal. So please
So
check it out. It was beautifully, just everything was perfect about it. So I'm so happy that my friends are so talented and so creative, and they're just out here producing things for you guys to just consume. So please consume it. The links will be down below. This video inspired me to, you know, do another like girl chat, how to date safely in 2020. So I'm gonna start working on that. So hopefully that will be up soon. I'm gonna try to get some dudes on here. I don't know personally a lot of men, but these 2 ladies know some dudes, some people with the male genitalia, and they're gonna refer them to come down to my video. So hopefully I can have a conversation and just, I guess, dissect the male mind. So I'm super excited for all the contents coming out. Also, I'm going to grad school, so I know. So that's gonna be some other stuff. As Margaret has suggested that I do like vlogging for day in the life of a grad student, how to prepare to go to school online. So lots of new stuff. Bear with me. I'm just in a lot of moving pieces, but I'm super excited. Thank you again for watching. If you like, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like, give me a thumbs down. That's okay.
Don't give a thumbs down. Be gone. Just go on.
But definitely like, comment. Definitely comment. We want to see and engage with you guys. And subscribe
button
to the podcast, to the blog, to the YouTube channel, all of it, guys. We wish y'all a great night, a good morning, wherever you are, whatever you're doing.
Sweet dreams, and always keep on dreaming.
God bless.
All righty. Bye.
Bye.